Liam, first winning in 6 today against Doncaster. Must be all sorts of things going through your head, but what's your overriding emotion after that game?
Yeah, happy to get a win, obviously. You know, there's no better feeling than winning, and I think everybody or nobody will disagree when I say we needed it, and we did need it, and it's nice to get back in the winner's circle.
You've said for the last few weeks that the effort and endeavour's been there. Do you think that today was a bit of proof in the pudding, really?
I had a little bit of an attitude shift as well, and simplified everything again, and challenged each other, and yeah, just like I said, the effort has been a little bit misguided, but it's been there, and I think we focused it in the right areas today, and ultimately the absolute basics of rugby league, running hard and tackling hard, we got right, and working hard together.
One of the areas that was definitely there was in defence. For a long time we thought we'd keep them to 0. Are you slightly disappointed that we let them in for those 2 tries at the end, or does it not really matter?
Well, yeah, you're never happy to concede a try, but I think you know, as much as the attitude and effort were there, we also had a lot of players who haven't played an awful lot of rugby in the last few weeks. Obviously, and a lot on debut, so there were going to be some tired legs out there, especially on the edges, which I thought you saw that with Matthew Pons, who cramped up towards the end, who were outstanding for 60 odd minutes he played, and same with Ned McCormack from Leeds. He picked up a dead leg and he toughed it out till 77 minutes, and he were outstanding. Corey again played 80 minutes in the middle, put in a big shift. So there were a lot of people. Zach started the game, he wasn't particularly feeling very well, and Jack's infield was pulled out before the game with an hamstring injury. So again, it won without his challenges today, and I think you could see that at the back end. Some of those boys that were starting to fatigue, and spent the whole of the second half defending what felt like our try line. But again, the commitment to try and hold them out was first class, and I think they only managed to sort of get over right in the corner at the end, and I can't picture the one before that. But yeah, people keep turning up and keep putting effort in, and people talk about luck. You got that attitude and endeavour, you start to get those little bits of luck, and we did that today.
You did make a few changes, obviously, with the Leeds lads coming in and Pons on the wing. Seems a bit of a silly question, but what kind of impact have they made on today, and what does it give you to think about going forward? Well,
in all honesty, this week they were here just to make sure we had a team on the field. That's the reality of it, and you know, we're grateful to Leeds first of all for our partnership, dual edge with them, and lending those players, because realistically them lads are not far off being in the first team at Leeds, so it'd be easy for them to say, you know, we're going to hold them back in case we need them for us. So we're grateful for that, and Pons was a bit of a shot in the dark with a lad who's been over on trial at OKR, and through his agent sort of recommended him, and we took that at face value, and I thought he was outstanding with all his efforts today and his toughness, and he'll only get better. So yeah, it were a little bit of needs must, but at the same time we weren't getting sent any idiots either. They were capable rugby players. It's just a little bit of a risk putting them in all together, because you've not trained that much. You've literally trained Thursday for most of them, and Thursday and Friday for most of them. Sorry, and just Thursday for Leon, who was squadding for Leeds on Friday as well.
Speaking of capable rugby, we saw quite a lot of capable rugby in the tries that we scored. You must have been really pleased with the way that we scored those points today.
Yeah, I was. We knew what we needed to do today, and we knew how Doncaster were going to play and how they were going to defend, and it needed our pivots to be on, and to be running the ball. And I think you saw from first game, Corey Johnson was outstanding out of dummy half. He took their defence on and was very direct, and then off the back of that and the quick rucks from the forwards carrying hard, Bob and Adzi and Connor started the game really well and put a dint in them. Which then made Keezy, Louis and Gaz be able to run, and I think when your halfbacks are running, generally it's a good sign that your big men and your outside backs have got you on the front foot, which is ultimately what the game of rugby league is.
Widdop at full back today, Dufresne and Keys at half back. James Woodburn-Hall will come back next week from his head injury assessment. Does that give you something to think about of where to fit him into the side, or does it make it a bit academic how those three were today?
Yeah, it gives me an headache, which is good. You know, we haven't had any this year so far. The headaches have been who can put a fire out in this position or put a fire out in that position. And next week, you know, we've also got Ed Barber coming back into contention. Ben Tibbs potentially back next week. Ollie Davis didn't play today. Adam O'Brien might be pushing it, but he might be available next week. So all of a sudden, there's that little bit of squad pressure and people potentially coming back in. But you know, if you've got the shirt and you're playing well enough, it's up to them to force their way in.
The way that Corey Johnson played today, he was outstanding. Does that kind of put O'Brien on the back burner, knowing that he can put in that performance in 80 minutes today?
Not necessarily, no. You know, you don't want to. We didn't have a spare pivot at all. The initial plan was, because Louis also toughed it out today. He was struggling all week. Probably in the perfect world, he might not have played today because, you know, he's done it tough, and he came off last week and he was really struggling. But again, Louis is a tough team player and he puts the team first. And when I rung him up yesterday when Jack were pulled out, he said, "Yeah, I'll get through it." So you need that extra pivot somewhere near. And I think you know, again, as good as Corey was, he absolutely was out on his feet at times there. And it would have been nice to throw Adam O'Brien on with 30 minutes to go or 20 minutes to go to give him a little bit of a cameo. But yeah, decisions that are good to have to make, but at the same time, you know, it's one win. We're not getting carried away. We're far from it. There's still a hell of a lot of work to do. We're not anywhere near where we need to be. We've just managed to stop a bit of a bad run, and now the job is to try and get another good positive result on Saturday.
Won't be a post-match interview without talking about injuries. I saw a few, like you mentioned before. You didn't mention James Saltonstall, who went off the field as well. How's he doing, and what's the news on the others?
Yeah, Salty, I know he hadn't had a mention, but his carries out of yardage were outstanding. Probably doing double the work that he normally does, because Zach were under the pump a bit with illness, but at the same time he got through a fair bit of work as well with his usual carries. So he just got a split on the back of his head, so obviously he had to have the head injury assessment, but also some stitches. But you know, that's a pretty tough head, is that? So I think he'll be alright.
I know you said it's only one win, trying to get carried away, but it is a win. It's a positive win at that. What's your message to both the players and the fans as well going forward for a tough run of games that we've got going forward as well? Yeah,
it's not. You know, we're not there. We're not there at all. We know we've got loads of improvement in us, and you know, one swallow don't make a summer. It really is as simple as that. We've won a couple of games earlier on in the year, and we've won this one. But ultimately we need to keep a standard of performance and a standard level of performance in training to make sure that we keep improving, and hopefully that little bit of squad pressure as well of people becoming available will add to that, and ultimately we just need to keep getting better.